We are live. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Loudmouth. This is Tim.
And the real Ron.
Yeah, what's up, Ron?
Hey, sorry about the not being in the studio with you today. Had some events going on that I couldn't get down there with you today.
That's all right. This gave me an opportunity to sit down and work out how we do this remotely. Now that I know we can bring other people on and have them do Zoom calls and stuff, we can interview that way. So, it kind of works itself out.
Like guest speakers and stuff like that?
Yeah. Or, whoever, some random person like, hey, yeah, come on. That would be interesting.
I like it.
Or it could be terrible. We don't know.
Either way, it's going to be awesome and we're going to enjoy it.
Yeah. We got some good stuff for you tonight, guys. Thanks for joining. Thanks for all your support. Ron, did you want to go first or you want me to start it off? What we got?
You know me, I'm like potted meat. I'm always ready to go.
All right, let's hear it.
I know that you don't eat potted meat and you don't eat Spam. Well, you said you eat potted meat. You don't eat Spam.
I honestly don't eat either one, but if I had to choose, it would be potted meat.
Spam potted meat is a lot better than I'm watching TV and there's a stick commercial on. I'm sorry. Vote Kevin Stitt.
Don't.
Yeah. Tim, I've been getting beat up. I got banned off Twitter, and you say I didn't, but they won't let me comment, and they're making me like verify my account and all this bullshit because I posted a picture of a library book that is in a school library, and they said that it was against community standards for Twitter. What do I do about that, Tim?
Well, you got to get that email address because the picture you sent me was them wanting you to verify your email address. So I'd go that route and then see, because if it does ban you, and it's happened to me several times on Twitter, it'll show you the post and it'll say what the reason is and time frame left, and it'll make you delete it. But I think somebody probably reported you as a spam bot, and that's why it's wanting you to verify to make sure you're not, a spam bot. I don't know.
Have you ever been reported as a spam bot on Twitter?
Not that I'm aware of, but I have gotten the occasional, hey, confirm your email address notification. And it's totally random as far as I could tell. Like I hadn't done anything. So that might just be total coincidence. I don't know. Because I posted the pictures of that, pornographic book that was in the school, and I never got banned. It's still on there, in fact.
Is it really?
Course, yeah. And those people are, that's not pornographic material. Okay.
Yeah, you spent like an hour today arguing with some fake ass account.
Yeah, I had to just mute the guy. I'm like, every time he responds, I feel compelled to respond. So I'm like, I ain't got time to do this. So I just muted it so I didn't have to listen to him. He's probably still commenting. John B. Connolly.
Yeah, let me ask you this, because I get this too, and I'm sure you do. Why are you even friends with Tim? Why are you associating yourself with Tim? He's not aligning with what we are trying to do. Who the hell is we?
Right.
Do you get that? Do you get that?
No, I don't get that because we don't have a lot of Democrats that support the channel. The ones that do, they don't question why I'm friends with you. They don't necessarily appreciate you, but they don't hate on me for being friends with you. That said, when I, go in the circles that you run with those people, they don't like me.
They annihilate you.
Yeah, they call me a troll. They say I'm this and that. Matter of fact, just half hour ago, maybe an hour ago, I got into it with somebody. They make claims. Well, it was about the pastors for Oklahoma kids. I guess one of them, Chuck Frailey or Charles Frailey, I'm not sure.
Clark Frailey.
Frailey. Yeah, this person was like, I wonder what the left of Oklahoma has on this pastor, and I'm like, well, you don't have any information to back that up. It's just pure speculation, So why don't you just go with the simplest thought, which is that he just doesn't support Ryan? I mean, that's what I would think. A pastor is.
But you saw my reply to her. I know what you're talking about. I didn't know that you replied to her, that y'all were even in conversation. But you saw what I replied to her, right?
No, no, I was too engrossed in that, and then I had to jump over here and try to figure this out. So I didn't.
I think it was Gia. Is that who you were talking to?
Right. Yep.
Gia asked that. I think it was my post, but she said, "I wonder what they had, what the left or the Democrats or whatever have on Clark Frailey." And I was like, "I've spoke to this man personally over the phone for almost 35 minutes." And he was explaining to me that through Pastors for Oklahoma Kids, they work through the OEA and these different bureaucratic associations to help fill foster beds in Oklahoma City. And in turn,
foster beds,
not fill foster beds, but buy beds to put in foster homes for kids.
To like sponsor that, basically.
Sponsor, right.
Right.
So
okay.
And not to be the asshole, but it sounded like he was running a business off of public funds from schools through the OEA and the OSSBA. And I told her the same thing that I'll tell you. I'm going to delve into it a little bit further before I speak more about it, but it didn't sound like it was on the up and up.
Well, I mean, he is a pastor that is, they tend to do things like that, like take care of children and that sort of thing. So again, Occam's razor, the simplest explanation is usually the right one. It's okay to speculate. And I even said that in my post. It's fine to speculate, but you should at least put it out there as if it's pure speculation.
Tim, I'll say this to you. Occam's razor. The simplest, say it again.
The simplest explanation is typically the one that is correct.
And the simplest explanation is usually,
in this case, would be
money.
No, that's going outside of the scope.
No.
The guy's a pastor, and in fact, religious belief dictates that he do those things. The Bible says that they should do those things.
Come on now, Tim. Or Robert,
you feed the hungry.
Swagger,
you visit prisoners. I mean, this is religious doctrine.
Tim, you're killing me here.
I mean, it is. It's not just stoning women who cheat on their husbands, that sort of thing. There's lots of good things in the Bible, and some pastors believe in that. If you provide evidence,
I love Jesus. You know that I love Jesus. I cuss a little bit, but I love the Bible. But there are some evangelical Christian preachers out there that are in it for the money.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen that with the Republican Party for the last 40 years.
Why do you say Republican? Both.
No, well, it used to be prior to the 1960s, but then Jerry Falwell came out with his moral majority, and whenever they did that, the Ronald Reagan decided when he was running his campaign is like, we need some votes because they kept losing, so they started adding evangelical things to their campaigns, and those were the promises, and they latched on to the evangelical vote, and that's what they've done ever since, and it's just gotten worse, well, or better, however you want to look at it. So for 40 years or so, Republicans have had pretty much a handle on the Christian vote, which is, I mean, it's fine, you can vote for whoever you want to, but
well, like you said, if you're voting for the Bible, there's really nothing wrong with that, except you don't want to stone your sister for not sewing the right way or whatever.
Right. I mean, there's lots of things in the Bible that you'll point out to them. They're like, oh, well, that's the Old Testament. As opposed to, because that they often, when talking about like Muslims, they have a similar deal where, well, that's before this time period. I don't know what they refer to it as, but the bad parts of the Quran or whatever is in a part that they don't necessarily adhere to. It's kind of the same argument with Christians as well. And I don't have anything against Christians or religious people in general, but
I try to live by the Bible. I'm not. I think you and I both are of similar beliefs as far as the Bible and religion is concerned. I'm not getting dressed up on Easter and going to church, but uh, I don't fault anybody that does that.
Yeah. Well, I'm leaning more towards I don't believe in it at all. But at the
You're just
very
gonna
least,
call all out atheists. Is that what you're saying?
well, I'm more of I can't prove any of it. So, and it doesn't, so I'm more agnostic really than atheist. But leaning towards atheist because I don't see any proof of it. Uh, I show me evidence. We've got these historical texts that we've had for so long now, and there's evidence that these stories, some of them are true, but none of the God from above and such. I'd be more apt to believe the alien theory, that
Yeah.
God and the angels and all those people were actually aliens that came to Earth on spaceships, like we talked about ancient aliens, I think, in our first episode, and
I love that show. Yeah,
pretty
I do.
fascinating stuff. Yeah, I mean, and it kind of goes right along with that. um but yeah, I mean, I didn't even realize we were going to talk about religion
I
today, but I mean,
I
I'm
didn't
okay
either.
with it.
We went down
It's
a wormhole there.
I mean, that's fine. It just, my point is like, since we're on the topic, like, these people have come on my page and said some rude things, and I don't engage with them in that way. I'm not rude back. But then the moment I come and I have something that I disagree with, all of a sudden I'm a troll and I'm a this and I'm a commie, and it's it's exhausting, really. And that's what this channel is supposed to be about. Like, God, I can disagree with you. I don't need you to call me a troll or anything. That's crazy,
I had a Oklahoma State senator. Her name's Mary Bourne, and I don't have a problem saying her name because it's out there on the internet. Um,
on the
she
interwebs.
she was arguing with me and your best friend Melissa. And she told Melissa that God told her that she was supposed to protect or say whatever she was saying about Jena Nelson and Jacob Rosecrans, however you pronounce his name. And I was going back and forth, and I don't get into the religious aspect of stuff. And I'm just like, have a blessed day. I love you, blah, blah. But I made a good point, and then immediately after I made the good point, she limited my comment, which means she blocked me.
Right, you could still see it, but you couldn't add any more
Right.
comments. Yeah.
But she can.
Well, now, so she said something about God told her to do something.
Yeah.
I'd have to see the post. I haven't seen the post, or at least if I saw it, I don't remember it.
Well, I'll send you the. I mean, you know me. I screenshot everything. So
Now
maybe next time.
she's a sitting senator, because
Sitting senator. She's a sitting senator. She has no opposition, and she's
now
in the re-election a year.
is that on her official Senate page, or is that just on her campaign
No,
page?
come on,
Okay.
Tim. No, it's
Well, I
on
was going to
her.
point out that she can't do that if it was on her
Right.
official page.
No, she's not ignorant. She's smart. It's on her Senate re-election page.
Well, I don't know if God's talking to her. I don't
No,
know.
I'm just
I
saying
remember
it's
George Bush took a phone call one day on stage, and
well.
that was a little weird.
And in the same breath, on the same thread, she tells me that Ryan Walters is abusing his position by telling people that, or what she said, he is weaponizing going after teacher certificates, and he is banning books. And
I mean,
that is an abuse of his power.
I don't disagree with her characterization of that, to be quite honest with you.
That's fine.
I
Hang on a
mean,
second. Did she not just do the same thing with her position of power? Because Ryan has never said, I want to ban books.
well, when you do something that leads to it, you know what I mean? Like, if and a lot of people believe the intent behind, say, 1775 as an example, is to go that route.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
that's not.
Now the book banning stuff, he hasn't
Ryan has
come out
never
and
said that he
said
wants
that
to ban books.
right. He's never said that. But there's this big hoopla over book banning right now, and I think people on both sides are being ridiculous with it, because
Yeah, it's a distraction.
you'll have liberals coming out, oh, they're banning To Kill a Mockingbird and Of Mice and Men, and they're saying all these crazy things. Like, you pick one example of a book that in one school across the entire United States got banned, and you blow it up out of proportion like it's crazy, right? But then you also have that same on the other side. They're doing the same stuff. You find one really nasty pornographic book, and all of a sudden it's an issue with all of them. But I think they're all trying to score political points here, and I think it's absurd. I mean, I think
it's exactly the same thing that on the other side of the aisle, and I'll speak to this because I'm Republican. In an election year, they'll say they're coming after your guns. They're coming after all your guns,
and they never do.
They never will.
Right.
They never will.
Yeah, and with the gun thing, might take us down another rabbit hole, but I'll point out that pretty much everything that we have a constitutional right to do, like the right to protest, they put restrictions on that. They put restrictions on everything that we can do, even though it's a right. There are situations that you can't go protest, where you are asked to go and get a permit or whatever, unless it's a situation that just emerged, like something that just happened and caused a bunch of people to get upset.
Right.
That's an exception to that rule, but there are restrictions on things. So when somebody goes and says, like, for the AR, for example, well, you can't buy an AR or whatever, or you can't have these triggers that treat
The
a
bump
semi-auto,
stocks. Yeah.
right? A semi. There's precedent for that, and so that doesn't mean that they're going to come after and take everybody's guns. Now, you start going down that road, it can be a slippery slope. But again, we look at the protest stuff. God, there's so many things you got to get all your ducks in a row.
What do they call it? A dog whistle?
Yes. I mean, I think a lot of that is a dog whistle, and I think what Ryan is doing is also a dog whistle.
I think what every politician does when they get elected is a dog whistle.
To some degree, for sure. Some do it worse than others.
But I'll tell you who isn't dog whistling is Jena Nelson, because she ain't said shit. She ain't
saying nothing. Jena, like, I look at you and I get good vibes off of you, and if you ever watch this show, please, good Lord, come out of your shell and tell us what you're all about. As it sets, you'll probably get my vote anyway, but I hate doing that. Because,
seriously?
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Okay, hang on a second, because you're going to vote for somebody that you know nothing about, rather than vote for somebody that this is his conviction, but you're going to vote against him just because he's who he is.
I have two choices, Ron. I have to pick one of them. One of them I know is a bad deal for the state. The other one, doesn't appear to be a bad deal for the state. Is she going to be a status quo placeholder? Maybe, but at least that's not going to take us down a road I don't want to go down. So, only once in my life have I ever voted for somebody because I really wanted to. Well, I take that back. I should say twice. I voted for Bernie, but that was in the primary, so it wasn't the same thing.
I'm not trying to convince you to vote for Ryan, because I know that you won't vote for Ryan, but I'm trying to wrap it around my brain. It's like, if I know somebody that can't do any worse for our public education system versus voting for a fucking rock.
Well, I see it differently. And if the roles were reversed, I'm sure you would feel the same way. If if a candidate was out there saying that they wanted to make trans rights in every school and to do, training for pronouns and stuff like that, and the other candidate didn't say anything, I have a feeling you probably go with the one that you weren't sure about over the one that you know what they're standing for and you don't like it. I'm not going to speak for you, but if it was reversed in some kind of way that way, it's a crappy position for me to be in. But I'm also asking her to come out. I'm going to
That's what I'm
go.
saying.
I'm going to go.
Give me some type of context. Don't just vote for the wall because it's
Well,
not lying.
well, she's been teaching for 16 years, and she's been teacher of the year at 3 different schools and was the state teacher of the year. So she can't be all that bad.
Do you know what a magnet school is?
Yes. Although the charters and magnet schools I always get the two mixed up, but yeah, I understand it.
You know that she teaches at a magnet. I don't know the difference between magnet and charter schools. That's why I'm asking you. She is a teacher at a magnet school. What does that mean to you?
So the magnet school, it focuses on one type of curriculum, like the arts or theater or something like that. And then, kids will go there until it gets full. Most magnet schools do not have an entry exam, except some of them do. I believe it was something like 70% of magnet schools have no entry exam, and it just gets filled up until it's full.
Okay, we need to do an episode on this because I thought from my people that send me stuff all the time, they're telling me that magnet schools, they test and that's how you get in.
No, most of them don't.
And charter schools have to take everybody.
Charter schools do have to take everybody. That is one of the differences between the two. They don't have to, but the vast majority of them have no entrance exams.
Okay, so,
some of them do.
I need to do more research on that.
But any private school that you go to is going to have some kind of a cutoff because they can only take so many students.
And that's the thing with the voucher thing they're throwing a fit
charter
about.
School as well. Right, because you'll end up with some schools that have all the money, have all the students there, and it's running well. You've got donors, and and
that's not my point. My point is private schools are already filled up, so there's not going to be a mass exodus, even if we were to do vouchers.
Not a mass exodus, but there are buildings available today where people would go inside of those and build those schools. They would create the curriculum. They would put together a charter board or whatever, and they could quickly, I wouldn't say real quick, put together something. I mean, you might have Eastland Mall as a school. Well, I guess it's Eastgate Complex now. Like an old mall or something that could function as a school, and that's
absolutely
what they do.
Absolutely. Yeah. Here's what I would do if I had millions and millions and millions of dollars, and somebody said we're going to do vouchers. I would go buy up the 17 schools that Tulsa Public School has shut down.
Yeah, I mean they could do that
and
also.
Open them up quick.
Yeah.
And I would educate children to the point that we want them educated.
But here's the thing: why don't they just do that?
Right. That's my point.
But the state can do that now. The state can pump funds in there so that they can do that, but they don't.
Because it's all political. Nobody is looking at the basic necessities of our children: reading, writing, arithmetic, proficiency. Right. Instead, they've got all this other bullshit cooked in, and it's interweaved, and it's just bullshit.
Yeah, I mean,
nobody is asking those questions.
Yeah, it is political because, and I've said this before, and of course, this is somewhat speculation on my part, but I believe Oklahoma is in one of the last places on purpose, because we've seen this with Social Security as well. They do the same thing. They'll go in and they'll purposely break something and then turn around and say, "Oh, look, government sucks. They can't do anything right. Look at what just happened with Social Security. It's running out of money." And then they're like, "Well, we got the fix. We're going to privatize it and skim some money off the top." I feel like that's what they've been doing. And, they've been pushing this voucher stuff and privatizing school and all these different things for a while, because public education works in other states. They do it right. It works. They
do.
They have states that it functions just fine. So it's
The
not as if they can't do it.
the
But
number 1 and 2 schools in the nation for proficiency are Florida and Indiana, and they are running per pupil expenditures almost to $30,000 a student, and they both have full-fledged voucher programs.
I mean, I'd have to see the numbers on that to make a, an opinion about that. But there are many, many, many other schools that are equally as good at many things that don't have voucher programs. And there are more public school states that do well than there are voucher program states that do well.
You've heard me say that I'm not a voucher proponent.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I don't want to take away from public school funds to send to religious private schools.
That's what's going to happen, unfortunately.
I will never be a proponent of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people feel the same way.
We need to educate all our children the same way. We need to keep church, and God love my Republican friends, we need to keep church out of schools, because when you invite church and God into schools, you invite Satan and Buddha and everybody else into schools, and that's not what school was intended for.
Right. And if they start complaining about that, it's just like that coach when he was praying at halftime. I'm like, man, I sure hope some Satan worshiping church comes in and creates a school and they start doing satanic worship at halftime, just to prove a point.
Here's how you do that, Tim. That is that man's individual right to pray if he wants to pray. Now, I know, because I'm intelligent, that wasn't what that man was doing.
Yeah, it wasn't. And let's face it, if you're in that group of football players, because when I was in school, I always felt compelled to join them, even though I did not want to. And they always prayed after the game on the field. And it was always weird to me because I'm like sitting there and looking down, like, just going through the motions, and it felt uncomfortable. But I knew at that time, of course, things have changed now. There are fewer, I think, believers now. But I knew that if I didn't do that, people would talk and say stuff. So,
100%.
I didn't want to be the outcast while I was, he doesn't believe in God, or he's a heathen, or whatever. They already made fun of me because I was poor, so I didn't want to add more fuel to the fire.
Tim, both of my grandfathers were preachers. My father in my house, you didn't put anything on the Bible. You couldn't put anything. You couldn't put a cup. You couldn't put a magazine. Nothing went on top of the Bible. It was revered, right? But in 5th grade, when I was in 5th grade in Fort Gibson, Oklahoma, every single morning we did the flag salute, the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we had a 1 minute of prayer. It wasn't a moment of silence. It was a moment of prayer.
That's so weird to think about at school.
And this was back in like 82, 83. And we were allowed, if you weren't religious or you were Jehovah's Witness or whatever, you could go out into the hallway. But who the fuck wants to go out into the hallway and let everybody know that they hate God?
Yeah, it's crap to expect children to do that. And we had Jehovah's Witnesses that whenever we'd have like Christmas parties, birthday parties, or whatever, they would have to go to the office because they didn't believe in that or whatever. And I always thought that was weird. I actually felt bad for them because that's, it sucks, of course.
And they weren't weird.
They weren't. But people looked at them that way because, you're missing out on birthday parties.
Right. And that's when the SEL bullshit, the social emotional stuff started.
Well, I mean, I don't know. That kind of grew
10,
out
15 years ago.
I think. We talked about this the other day. Because there's a lot more parents today, I think, that are worse than parents we had, 40 years ago.
Oh, and I probably pissed some parents off today with the video because I said that.
Yeah, and it's getting worse. and these teachers have to deal with this. And I was talking to a teacher today, and she was talking about this, and she was like, it's hard for anybody that isn't a teacher to understand how rude and just disrespectful a lot of these kids are, and that it's hard to teach because they either won't do their stuff, and then if the teacher reaches out to the parent, doesn't want to deal with it, or slings it back in their face and blames the teacher. Oh, it's your fault, you're not doing your job.
Or they can't even get a hold of them.
Or they can't get a hold of them. Yeah. So to some degree, that the social emotional learning is a way to help them cope, to try and be like some kind of placeholder when I don't want a school to parent my child. That I just want them to teach my child. But I also acknowledge that there are kids that just don't have parents. I've seen them myself, and they're terrors. And I can't imagine trying to deal with that in a classroom. So on one side, I believe that grew out of necessity. I know there's some conspiracy behind that and things like DEI and stuff, but I think the intent behind it was actually
DEI
good.
is bad. Yeah, I think the DEI stuff is like a fucking wormhole, rabbit hole that
it is.
It
really
and
is.
I believe that. I believe it. I really do. But
and see, I get caught up in that too, where I'm reading it and I'm like, it makes sense. This is crazy, but then I look back at some of the places where this stuff just kind of came out of nowhere, even though this stuff has kind of been in school for a while now. And I'm like, I don't know. This seems like another, as we said before, a dog whistle, just to get people riled up. And I don't know if that's true, but that's kind of how I'm seeing it. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine. It's almost become like the expectation. Like I told you earlier, I'm a paramedic, got a little bit of medical background, and no matter what the problem was, everybody that I picked up knew that they could go to the emergency room and they would be seen and assessed and could get whatever they wanted from the emergency room because of the law. The law says that we can't turn anybody away no matter what.
Yeah.
And that's what public school has become too.
Dumping ground for kids.
Right. We're going to take care of your child educationally, socially, emotionally, therapeutic counselors, whatever. And it's just become an encompassing just bottleneck of bullshit. And they're not getting educated like we were back in the 90s or 80s or 70s.
Yeah. I mean, that probably has a lot to do with it. Plus, there's more people now than there was then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fewer resources for more people. That we do have a comment here. I'm gonna throw a comment up on the screen here. This is from Dana. I think she makes a decent point here. It all started when SWATs were stopped. I never heard of a school shooting when kids could get SWATs for misbehaving.
I said this to you earlier, Tim.
Yeah,
I said those exact same thing.
And thanks for the comment, Dana. I mean, maybe that's a part of it, but I don't think SWATs really were enough to do that. Now, SWATs for kids that didn't have parents that gave a damn, maybe that's probably true, but my mom would never let them SWAT me, and I turned out okay. But again, this goes back to kids who don't have parents versus kids who do have parents, and that's where I draw the line, where if you know that a parent is involved in their kid's life, you don't need to worry about the SEL stuff or the disciplinary stuff. You can work with the parent to do that, and I wish they would do that more often, but it appears like they are just kind of blanketing every child, no matter if they have a parent that cares or not, under this umbrella, if that makes any sense.
It does.
Yeah.
Let me tell you a real life story that might add a little bit of humor and light to this. When I was in 9th grade in high school, I got into a fight with a girl, and I didn't touch her or anything like that, but she hit me in the back of the head with a full Pepsi bottle. And I'm still friends with this woman today. She'll vouch for this. There was 43 of us that graduated high school. but she hit me over the back of the head with a Pepsi bottle, and I threw it at her or something. Anyway, we got in trouble, and she took a SWAT. She took an ass whooping from the principal.
That's
and
funny.
He said, "Mr. Cosby, I'm either going to bust your ass, or you can pick up trash for an hour for detention after school." I was like, "I'm picking up trash." Well, then come 3:00, my mother shows up picking me up, and she's like, "Let's go." I'm like, "I'm going to be here for an hour because I got to pick up trash because I got in a fight." And she's like, "You're not picking up fucking trash. I'm late for bingo. I'm going to talk to your principal."
Well, I tell you what, picking up trash, that brings me on to another point I'd like to make, but finish your story.
Yeah. So she went in the office. She's like, I'm not sending my child up here to do the work of people that y'all pay to do. You're not using my child for free labor. And he's like, "Well, Mrs. Cosby, your son chose that over a SWAT." And she's like, "No, Ron, sit your ass up here. You're getting a SWAT. I got to go to bingo."
That's funny. I got to go to bingo. I
So
mean,
I got
yeah,
my ass
you
whooped.
know, things were a lot different then, but I think also society is, I don't know, kind of
Tell me about the
devolved.
trash thing. I know where you're going with that. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody likes picking up trash. And how often would you say that you clean out the trash bins at your house?
Oh, every time, once a week, I go out and I take the trash out to my curb, and
Yeah.
every time I pull it back, I'm like, "God, I need to clean this out."
Yeah.
But that's nasty. I'm not touching that.
Yeah, every time I go to spray in, you get splatter all over your face. You know, it
I've lived
stinks.
here 5 years. I've never done it.
Yeah. Well, now you don't have to worry about that because there is a service that you may not know you needed until you needed it. It's locally owned, family owned, and they service the Tulsa Metro. It's called Royal Bin Cleaning. And they come out to your house. You sign up with them. They come out to your house and they spray them out, clean them out, sanitize. There's no harsh chemicals or anything like that.
So is it like really clean though? I mean, it
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
smell like a Saturday night.
Nope. And they don't even dump the water on your lawn like I would if I was cleaning it out myself. And you can get monthly plans starting at $20. Plus, if you want to support the show, you can text Loudmouse to 918-855-4322. I'll put that up on the screen there. You text
Hang
that
on,
to
let
them,
me
and they
write
will
that down
send.
because I need my shit cleaned out.
Yeah, they will send 20% of your first service back to us to sponsor what
918.
we're doing.
Say it again,
918-855-4322.
And they're going to come clean that big trash bin that smells like nasty shit.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, it's state-of-the-art equipment. It's pretty cool how they got that set up. It just comes out, reaches in, and sprays it out. All that nasty water goes in the bin that they have, that little machine, if you want to call it that, and then boom, they're off. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. So check them out. And
they're going to give us money if we sell this stuff?
Yeah, that's right. They're going to give us 20% of that first sign up. So go ahead and do that if you want to support the show and get your trash cleaned at the same time.
I need I'm going to call the number tomorrow because I need that shit. I mean, mine. Ooh, you don't know my kids, Tim.
Yeah, no. Very clever business idea too, by the way. So with that said,
hang on. Where do they serve? Where do they serve again?
Tulsa Metro. They do Tulsa, Wasso, Claremore, Broken Arrow, Bixby, Jinx, Verdigris, and Glenpool.
So everywhere around Tulsa Metro. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Pretty much. Yeah. So did you have anything else on your agenda that you wanted to talk about tonight, or was that it?
No, that's it. We're going to, I don't know if we're going to touch on this later, but you and I are going to be at Bixby School Board meeting Thursday night. Is that not true?
Yeah. Is that this Thursday though? Because I thought it was actually today. It's next Thursday.
No, what is today? Today's not Thursday.
Today's Tuesday.
Yeah, it's 2 days from now, Thursday.
Okay, so this Thursday on the 8th.
This Thursday.
Yeah, I can be there because we're supposed to go live. What time is it? What time is it on Thursday?
I don't know, Tim, but we're going to be there, and then after we do because their meetings last like this long.
Yeah.
But after that, we'll do a live.
Yeah. Okay,
because
well, we can do it because we'll be up there anyway.
because you know that I just got an email today, and the lady sent back I did an open records request.
Is
I said I
is
want
that the Rob Miller guy?
the Rob Miller, and I said I want
Okay.
everything for the last 6 months, like I did with Amy Fitchner.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff to go through.
Yeah, she sent me an email back today. She's like, Mr. Cosby, you're talking about potential of thousands of documents, and it's going to take us at least 30 to 45 days. Are you looking for anything in particular? And I was like, nope, I want it all.
I want it all.
Give it to me all.
Now, who said that? Who asked you that?
The clerk.
Oh, yeah.
The Renee Klein of Bixby.
Now, if it's too big, they could charge you like hourly. Yeah.
Nah, they're not going to charge me out. They'll probably charge $500 or $600.
Yeah.
But I got some Bixby friends. Y'all better, if you want to see some shit, you better come up with some money.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, or just release it. We need to actually start a fund for that so people around Oklahoma can get documents even when they can't afford it. I always hated that stuff.
But Tim, doesn't the Open Records Act say that if you're a parent, you're entitled to this at no cost?
No.
Come on now, it does.
It's 25 cents a page, or there's some stipulation there, but they're allowed to do that because it can cost them more. They can also charge more if you are a news outlet. They can charge more if the request is too big, but they are allowed to charge to recoup the money that they need to do it.
Well, I know,
if you print off the papers and get all that stuff together.
Owasso offered to let me come up and just view it for free.
See, that's nice, and they don't even have to do that, because even if they put it on a CD, they're allowed to charge per page, which to me is kind of weird.
And I asked them, I was like, "Can I just bring a USB drive and just plug it in and download it?" And they're like, "No."
Purple Crunch says, yes, 100%. Release the records.
Oh my gosh.
Release the Kraken.
I love that lady. Purple Crunch. She's cute.
Hey, that's my wife now.
Oh, sorry. Shit. Sorry. Sorry.
So,
Dana, I just want to agree with you that, yes, SWATs are appropriate. Yes.
And here we go. Dana says, it's hard to command respect from kids when the authority figure couldn't even tell a handful of kids that he wouldn't approve a walkout last year. No consequences. He fully lost my respect. Do you know?
That's your buddy, Tim. That's your buddy she's talking about.
Who are you talking about?
Mark Officer. That's your buddy.
Couldn't even tell a handful of kids that he wouldn't approve. Well, why should he not approve that?
Because they're kids. They don't have permission from their parents.
I mean, well, that's an assumption. I don't know that all of those kids didn't have. If they had permission from their parents, I mean, we've seen walkouts all over the country.
Just one. I don't care if my kid goes to school, they go to school to learn. They don't go to school to walk out. If they're walking out, they better have my permission.
Well, I don't even know what they were protesting, but honestly, it doesn't matter. If your kids are taught that they have right to protest, I think that's a good thing, because that'll carry over into their adult years. But if you're no, you can't do that.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying, I think that that's a very American thing to do, is to protest in whatever way that you can. And if that's how kids want to do it, if they can get a large group of people and they walk out, I mean, it is. Now,
you can't willy-nilly protest, though.
Well, if you have a reason. But
this reason was a dude that was already convicted, fixing to be put to death, because he killed like 2 or 3 people. And these kids knew nothing about it. It happened 30 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to look at the case. Yeah. I don't know anything about it.
It's like we have daughters in high school, both of us. And both of us have heard about the beanie hat thing.
Them not being allowed to wear it. Yeah, but that's, but imagine if somebody told you that you couldn't protest because the issue you thought was important wasn't important enough.
Then I would walk my ass. I wouldn't go to school.
Right.
You can't go to school and then say everybody walk out, because that is not when you That's the
When
problem.
everybody agrees to do it, though. I mean, and teachers did this too. They protested and walked out of
Oh
school.
my God. Tim, I'm getting upset. I'm getting
Well,
pissed. When you
I
walk into school, that is no longer America. That is a socialist environment.
the Supreme Court disagrees.
Bullshit.
Supreme Court, yeah, they very explicitly said you do not shed your rights when you walk through those doors. What is
That's what I say.
Cute, Ron. That's why I love this guy, though.
No, that is a socialist environment. You are no. Those are our children, Tim.
I mean, I just disagree. We'll just have to agree to disagree on that one. And I don't know what the issue was, but if a big group of kids can get together and say that they collectively disagree with something and they want to make a point, make a stand, I don't see the harm in it.
I do, because those kids don't have a job, they don't pay bills, they don't do shit except expect cell phones and food.
Well, some of them have jobs, I'm sure. But either way, I mean, the only way you can have rights is if you have a job. God, there's a lot of people who don't have any rights. Basically. Yeah, that's I just don't agree. But
if you don't pay taxes, you don't have a say.
Yeah, I disagree with that too. The Constitution's pretty clear. You have rights. I don't think we should be applying separate rights to separate people just because it feels good. I don't know.
You have a right if you don't have a job. I'm just saying.
I assume you're being hyperbolic.
I am.
Okay.
But public schools, this is where I get hyped up, because kids are just fed this bullshit of entitlement in today's society. Cell phones, Gucci shoes, vehicles, money, just hand over fist. And we're just continuing it. When do we take that power back as parents from the kids and say, no, you're not special. If you're special, that means everybody's special, and that means nobody's special.
But what if those kids have permission from their parents? Like, I agree that they shouldn't just be able to walk out with no parental consent.
Right. That was my problem with it.
Okay.
If my daughter's going to walk out from class, I need to know about that, because I pay for that class.
Of course. Yeah, no,
so
I'm okay with that.
Mark officer, you need to call and tell me, or send me an email. Hey, all these kids are walking out at whatever time. Not mine.
Right.
Without a written book report of why you're walking out and why it's important to you.
I don't even know that the school can allow that, because they're in charge of those kids, and without parental permission, I don't know that they can allow them to do that. I don't know.
I don't know either. Ask Dana. She'll probably know.
I'm not sure. Maybe Dana knows. They announced it to the whole school to leave class. They had no way to monitor whether kids left campus or came back. Let me put that up on the screen.
It was during.
I mean, I don't know the story, so I can't.
Who announced it
that
to the
one
whole
way
school?
or the other? Yeah, I've never heard of that, and my child goes to that school. I never heard of that.
Okay, that's getting me going, because
I agree. That's a problem if you're just like, oh, school's out early. I mean, if they did that and didn't tell parents, and your kid has to walk home or whatever, yeah, I'd have an issue with that too. But
if you can tell me why you're walking out and why it's important to you, good on you, America. That's what we were founded on. But
I tell you what I'll do. What I'll do is I'll reach out to Mark and ask him.
Because you have a relationship with Mark. I don't.
Well, I mean, it's a superintendent-parent relationship. I'm not necessarily friends with the guy, but he listens to some degree. But yeah, I'll reach out to him and ask, because if they did that, that's certainly a problem, and I don't understand why they would do that. What I can see happening is that they announced, for those who are going to be part of the walkout, you can leave now. That way, it was a scheduled thing, so that parents know. And again, this is all assumption. I don't know.
I don't either. I'll say this is the last thing I'm gonna say. If the student body knows about a walkout, the student body parents should know about the walkout.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's fair. I don't think kids should just be allowed to walk off for no reason and, never come back or whatever.
What
I
do you
mean,
drink?
heck, NOS.
Oh,
It's not beer,
well,
but I like beer.
I like beer.
But I was going to talk about Donald Trump. So the Aileen Cannon thing, where she basically gave Trump a win, where the government had to stop reviewing those documents until a special master was appointed. Right? I mean, it sounds pretty innocent enough, but she wrote, and here's a quote: "A commitment to the appearance of fairness is critical now more than ever." That's something she wrote in the decision, which found a little odd because she was his nominee. He nominated her for the Supreme Court, and she was confirmed just after he lost the election.
Tim.
Now, what's that?
Special masters are appointed all the time. John Hurley has spoke about this, who I revere as a constitutional lawyer. This is not unprecedented.
We're talking about an investigation that has been going on for well over a year. And we're talking about documents that are so classified that they're going to have a hard time finding a special master with clearance level enough to go over those documents. And this is something that they had given them an opportunity for Trump's lawyers to come in and say, hey, these documents are mine. These, medical documents is what he's claiming was in some of those boxes that they took. But they were able to deal with that during the Mueller investigation. So it's not like there's no precedent set here. They didn't need to go this route. And essentially what she was saying is that the federal government doesn't have any right to investigate a citizen of the United States just so that the appearance of fairness is there, which is ridiculous because Article 2 of the Constitution grants the executive branch powers to investigate and prosecute. And she ruled against it, giving exception to a politician because he thought he was being attacked. She even acknowledged that Trump couldn't even prove, and she wrote this in their quote, callous disregard for plaintiffs' constitutional rights. They couldn't prove that there was any callous disregard for the rights, but she did it anyway.
Okay. Can I rebut that?
Sure. That's what we're here for.
Okay. I have talked to several people like yourself that are on the other side of this. If Donald Trump took documents from the White House or wherever that he was not supposed to take, Donald Trump is not above the law.
Right.
I want to just say that off the boom. You're not above America.
Nobody is. Nobody should be.
And I love Donald Trump's policies. I didn't like to listen to him talk, but I loved his policies. But it seems like Joe Biden's DOJ bullshit Merrick person has taken this and exaggerated this into something that it should not have been.
It hasn't. And in fact, in the opinion, if you read it, which I did read today.
I know you did. God dang.
Even in that document, it details exactly what's been reported in that, it was like January of 2021 or something like that. They had reached out to Trump to get these boxes of documents. So this is the National Association or National Archive Records Association, NARA, as they call it. And so he brought them these 15 documents months later, these 15 boxes rather. and it was called 15 boxes in the ruling. That's what they labeled that as. And so when they were going through it, they found this classified material, this top secret stuff. So they
What is it though?
Well, we can't know because it's top secret.
Really?
Right. That's the National Archives are the ones that hold on to that stuff. And they, when it's classified, it's obviously classified. It's not
but
like
that doesn't send off bills to you. He's able to load this shit on to a plane in a cardboard box.
That's the problem.
Take off to Mar-a-Lago with it.
That's the problem. He would have had to have gone through multiple steps to obtain this material. So it's not like he just had stuff laying around in the White House. No, he went out of his way to get it. That's the problem. And that's why there are a lot of people that are like, WTF with this stuff.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah,
I need to see what it is, though. You're not going to be
they're not going to show us.
Well,
they classify crap all the time, and they're never going to show us. So we can't
piss up a tree, because unless you tell me what he did wrong, I'm not going to be able to say, yeah, put him in jail.
So this is top secret. Like, this is stuff that only the top.
What is top secret?
Whatever mostly defense stuff.
So all they have to say is it was top secret.
The way those things were classified, it was defensive material that could put the United States at risk. It deals with operatives that they have in the field. It deals with defensive capabilities that we have across the world, bases that we don't let people know about. Those are the things that get the classifications that were found in Mar-a-Lago when he had an opportunity.
The shit that was on Hillary Clinton's laptop.
Not to that degree, no. They didn't.
How do you know? Because you don't know what the fucking you don't know what they're doing.
Because they listed the classifications of the stuff that they found on there, or that they believed to be on there.
Okay.
So, but this is what aboutism. This is what aboutism. You know that I don't like what Hillary Clinton did either, and I think she should have been prosecuted for it. Because Donald Trump doing this is way worse.
Here's what I'm gonna say.
Say what you're gonna say.
Donald Trump writes "fuck Hillary" on a napkin, and it's it's classified top secret.
It wouldn't be.
How do you know?
I mean, they
don't.
You can. They don't get to just do that. I mean, there is a process for classifying stuff, unless the source comes from a classified thing, like the source itself. I mean, it doesn't work that way. There's a little more to it than that.
Maybe there is, or maybe they just hate Donald Trump, which I don't blame them.
Either way, so I think we're getting off topic here a little bit.
I like
because
this is good.
Well, no, you're calling into question. Well, what's classified? Well, we don't get to see it.
No.
Well, then that means it's BS, and that's not very helpful to the conversation, because neither one of us can say what it is. But the government itself is saying, yeah, this stuff was so bad that NARA had to send it over to the Department of Justice, and the Department of Justice had to reach out to the FBI, who reached out to Donald Trump, and Donald Trump said, come on over here to the storage closet, to one of my closets, and you can look and see what's in there. So they came out to this stuff, and they found even more classified stuff. But then, because of the way that he was not letting them do stuff, they realized there were other materials there that they didn't have access to. That's why they ended up getting that warrant to go in there and search it, because they knew other stuff was in there. And guess what they found? More stuff.
I don't know what they found. And Tim,
you cannot believe anything that you want, but that doesn't get us anywhere.
Tim, we went to a fucking meeting at the Tulsa Tech the other day, and they told us we can't tell you who's on these committees, because if we tell you, you're going to target them. Right?
Okay.
Right. It's all about maintaining the control of the fucking situation, dude.
Yes, but we're talking about a classification of material that is.
But I don't care if it's Republican or Democrat. It's bullshit. We don't know.
Okay, so what? Then anybody could steal classified material, and because they won't tell you what that classified material is, those people shouldn't get in trouble?
No, I'm saying if it's
So
classified.
Hillary Clinton, then are you saying that Hillary should not have been investigated like she was?
No. If
But we
Trump
don't know if
took,
those things were classified or not, Ron. If we're going to go based on your logic, we can't
no,
prove that what she had on her servers was classified material. Therefore, she shouldn't have been investigated.
yeah, James Comey said that it was, but I don't know.
The
James
FBI
Comey,
is currently saying that this stuff is highly
right?
classified.
And I
So,
just said I don't know James Comey. I don't know if he's lying, if he's playing for one party or another. Show us if Donald Trump took some shit that he wasn't supposed to take. Show us what he took that he wasn't supposed to take, and then destroy it.
there are
Start
pictures.
over.
There are pictures of this stuff that they had to cover because it's top secret. It literally got classified top secret SCSI all over the cover of these manila envelopes. They
What
laid
the
out
fuck
in
is so
his
top
room.
secret that you can't show and then destroy?
Those are things that you'd have to become either president or somebody in the upper echelons of government in order to find out. Man, there are things about our government that you don't know and I don't know.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. I thought that you would be like, these conspiracy theory motherfuckers. I thought you'd be like, yeah, show us, and you can. I mean, we can get to Mars. You can delete whatever. Look at
Well,
Hillary.
I mean,
I'm
here's
not-
the thing. If they release that information to us, now everybody's going to know it, which means that being top secret is completely and totally invalid anymore because now whoever wants it has it. So I don't disagree with having some information that the general public can't have access to. That's, and all countries have that, where they have top secret information that people don't have because they don't want other countries to get it. And now it's sitting in a freaking box in Mar-a-Lago when you've got, there was this
Okay.
Chinese lady was busted pretending to be somebody else, and she was just walking around Mar-a-Lago.
Okay, one more question. If it was that top secret and that important, why did it take them 18 months and 5 days after they had the subpoena to get the shit that they had to go get it?
Well, they don't know what's there until they get it.
Tim, come on now.
How are they supposed to know? They just knew that there were more documents.
No, if you got a hard on for Trump and you got a subpoena in your hand, you don't wait 5 days. You go get the shit that day.
They didn't have the subpoena. They didn't have the subpoena until much later because they were trying to work with him and get him to give that to them. This was well over a year went by with this stuff. And Donald Trump didn't give them all of that classified information. He didn't. He had 2 opportunities to do it, and he didn't because they still found more. Why did he do that? I don't know. In my opinion, he probably went in there and stuffed his like medical records and attorney-client privilege stuff in those boxes so that when they took them, he could get his lawyers to go and claim what he's claiming here, that he needs that information back because it's medical records and attorney-client privilege. But the whole thing, the whole point of it is to delay. He's trying to delay until after the midterms. That way, once he declares his run for presidency, now he'll be able to scream, yeah, they're going after me again because I'm his opponent. That's the plan. That's what he's going to do.
And I've told you this from day fucking one. What have I said since day one? Since you asked me, did you see what did I say?
You mean that if he had classified documents, he should be in trouble?
No.
Okay, then I don't know
what
you're referring to.
Trump did this.
Oh, on purpose. Yeah, I'm sure, but he still has the classified documents, so that's illegal. I mean, he called for killing people who steal classified documents back in 2010. He's on video saying that for what's his name?
Video. He's on video for saying kill drug dealers too, and we were supposed to talk about that too.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can save that for another episode, but
yeah,
in 2010, what's the guy's name? The WikiLeaks, the WikiLeaks guy.
Yeah,
said we should put him to death, and then here he is still in classified documents, and all of a sudden it's a hit job.
If you are accused of stealing classified documents that you solely are responsible for classifying or declassifying, I mean, are you getting where I'm going with that?
Sorry, I was reading the comment. Say that again.
If you're accused of stealing classified documents that you are solely able to classify or declassify, can you really prosecute that person?
Well, not if they weren't classified, or if they weren't declassified. No, there's a process to go through, and not all that material had been declassified. The vast majority of it wasn't. So
okay.
just because you are the president and you have the power or ability to do that doesn't mean that you follow through with it. And therefore, I mean, besides, he's not president anymore, and he's still got this stuff. So he, as ex-president, you can't do that. But there was a comment here that I would like to address.
Let's see.
It's from Dana. How does the most secure office even get to leave the property when I had to go through umpteen searches to step foot on the property? I mean, that's a good question, but he was the president at the time, and he put these boxes together before he left. And then here's one more from Dana. So Hillary gets a bye? No. I think what they did with her was crap. I think it was political. She should have been prosecuted. And to be quite honest with you, she should be in jail right now for what she did. She put those documents at risk. And in fact, James Comey even came out and said that he believed that her servers had been hacked. And I have never once said that she shouldn't have gone to jail or been prosecuted. You'll never find a video or a post of me saying that she shouldn't be. But that doesn't mean that we give somebody else a pass just because they let her go.
I'm going to tell you right now, here's how Trump gets out of that. Hillary was never fucking president. Hillary never had the power to declassify or classify those documents. And she didn't,
but she was part of the State Department, and those records that were sent to her in her role. But she's supposed to use the government's email server because it is protected against things like being attacked from the outside. And she knew exactly what she was doing. It's not like she just,
I think Trump was too.
He had to have. He's the one that loaded those things up and put them in his, and he would have had to have grabbed and ordered those documents over to him in order for him to take them. So it wasn't like they were just boxes laying around the White House. That's not what I'm
saying. Is if he got them on,
he reached out to get them.
If they were that sensitive and like would destroy America, why the fuck is one person able to say, I want all 15 boxes that's going to destroy America?
Well, he was the president at the time. If he says, I want this, he says, if I want this document, they're going to go get it. He's the leader of the country. Yeah. I mean, what you think the government should be able to hide stuff from the president? I don't think so. I think, and there are some things I'm certain that the FBI and CIA don't offer up to the president. I'm sure there are some things that they have kind of gone on their own to protect.
Oh, I'm sure of that, but
yeah,
I can't imagine somebody sitting in the Oval Office saying, "Hey, we're out of here in 15 minutes. Any shit you want to take that you know you're not supposed to."
Yeah, I don't think it was like that. I think this was over the course of, however long. He might have had these documents, copied them off, even though he's not supposed to. I don't know if they were originals or if they were copies. I don't know. But there's a process to go get those documents, and he would have had to have gone through that process, even though he's the president. It would have had to have gone through multiple channels. So a lot of that stuff he meant to go and get. Like he went out of his way to get them.
And I want my Republican friends to know that I love Donald Trump. I love Ronald Reagan more, but no president, no person is above America.
Yeah.
So there's a law that says you can't take that shit.
Right. Yeah, it's
without giving it back or doing your public library, or there's a process.
Yeah, and
I
when
just
this
want to
story
know that it
first
was done
broke,
right.
and we may have even talked about it here on our show, uh, I was like, well, this is stupid because Hillary did the same crap, and now they're going to be able to just turn around and say, well, Hillary did this, which you'd be a hypocrite to say that one should be able to get away with it, not the other. But as it evolved, and I started seeing the stuff that was coming out, and the pictures that they had released, and all of the types of documents that they had, I was like, man, this dude went out of his way to get this stuff. And why? I don't know. I have no idea.
I want to see
Yeah,
it.
I mean, they've got the pictures of when because I believe they had spread them out on his carpet. I mean, it's in his house. You can see the carpet. It's gaudy like Trump carpet would be. And they had to cover the pages with white pieces of paper before they could even take the picture of it. What they are, I don't know, and we'll probably never find out for another 50
Why
years.
is that though? It's already compromised. FBI agents have seen it. Fucking chauffeurs have seen it. Come on now.
I mean, we don't know how compromised it is. Whatever country that got it from him or stole it or spied or copied it or whatever he did, they're probably not going to share it because that's information that they can use against us. And that's really the problem. Like and I can't remember who it was. I think it was Bush, maybe Cheney had released some of the names of our operatives. That became a big story. Do you remember that?
Yeah, it was Cheney.
Yeah, and it was something simple like that.
If you're an FBI agent and you're in Mar-a-Lago and you're laying out documents on a carpet and taking snapshots of it, that is fucking concerning, because if that can ruin America, what are you even doing taking pictures of that?
Well, that's what they were there to do. They're the FBI. I mean, they're police officers. They have, somebody has to do it. Biden, they ain't going to get Biden, come down here. This stuff is pretty classified. We need you to look at it. He'd be like, I'm still president. I was elected.
Let me ask you this. Do you think Biden knew that they were going to do that?
Well, yeah, I would imagine so. He would have had to have signed off on it at some point.
No, he said he knew nothing about it.
No, at some point he probably would have had to, but we're talking about I don't want to offend anybody, but a dementia patient. Yeah, I mean, at some point he would have had to have known about it. To what degree and what he thought that was, I don't know, but
there's a document somewhere with his signature on it says go get him.
Well, I don't know if it's like that. It's probably more like, hey, we've got this issue and we're the FBI, and because he's the ex-president, what do you want us to do about it? Because this is going to look bad. I mean, and here's the thing, like that Aileen Cannon, that Trump appointed judge, she was basically claiming that because he's an ex-president, you can't go after him in the same way. Man, they went after Richard Nixon while he was still president.
Let me ask you this.
They investigated him. So it's not like this. We haven't done this before. We can't.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Why is Trump wanting to unseal the affidavits? Why is Trump asking to show everybody everything?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I can't really answer that. I don't know what's in the affidavit.
But what does your gut tell you? If somebody tells you, fucking show them. Show everybody what's going on.
Well, the affidavit doesn't necessarily prove anything one way or the other.
I'm telling you, it's because
it might be
that he planned it.
Well, it might be that he wants to know so that he can go after whoever ratted on him, because people believe it was Ivanka.
Oh, Tim.
I mean, that's not from my mouth. That's from other people's mouths. People who have, know people say that they believe internally that it was Ivanka who was the mole, and that may be why he wants to unseal that so he can see who it was, which wouldn't surprise me. I mean, it would make sense. Who, her? Well, because she may draw a line somewhere. and say we can't do that. I
She's a
don't
Trump.
know. I
She's a Trump.
can't, just like I can't speak to why he would take those documents and put them in his house in the first place. I don't know that all that.
Oh, I know that for certain. It's ego driven.
Yeah, I mean, and it could be money driven. I mean, the guy loves money, and he could sell that stuff for all kinds of stuff, or he could trade it for deals and new, Trump towers everywhere. I mean, the deals with Kushner and Saudi Arabia and Kushner's dad and all that stuff. What did he give up for that? I don't know, but it's all speculation and conspiracy, but it certainly doesn't look great.
It's all trash. As far as I hate politics, it's trash.
It is trash.
You know what? You should tell Royal Benz to come wash out all of Washington because
they need to do that. Yep. But before they do that, they need to use the code loudmouths. That way, the 20% of that can come right back to us, because they support us bringing everybody together. And again, text loudmouths to 918-855-4322 so you can get that trash cleaned out today or tomorrow.
Eric Trump, text 918-855-4322. Give them your credit card and wash your trash dumpster out.
Time to clean out that trash, y'all. But did you have anything else, Ron?
I didn't. Tim, I'm sorry that we got kind of like cross.
No,
but we do that. It's
fun. We're loudmouths.
People don't understand that that's what we do on the daily.
That is what we do.
We really do. We have cuss fights. We agree. We don't, but at the end of the day, we still end up friends. Yeah.
I respect your ability to have an opinion and to express it, and you respect mine, and that's why
vice versa. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I appreciate
it for it. Yeah.
I need that in my life, because if not for people like you, liberals, I would always be right.
I don't know about that.
Hey, PLC, okay?
Oh man, I can't do it. Purple Crunch, she knows what the PLC. No, I can't do it.
Hey, Dana knows what PLC. Dana knows what PLC too.
Yeah, we've got some good stuff coming for you guys. We got to work it out.
Hey,
what's up?
Owasso has kind of copycatted us.
Yeah, Minutes with Margaret.
Margaret, yeah.
We're gonna one up them, Ron, is what we're gonna do, aren't
we? That's what we do, Tim. That's what we do.
Yeah, we are.
I can't wait. I really can't wait.
We got some funny stuff coming. Hopefully, we'll work it out. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But just so if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that. Hit the bell icon so you can get notified when we go live. And again, text loudmouth to that phone number there to show your support. 20% of what you purchase through them goes back to us. And
I'll just say that we're not making thousands of dollars off this stuff. We're really not.
We haven't made anything to date.
Yeah, we're in our homes. My kids are downstairs hollering, and we're just trying to bring information to y'all as we get it, because we're kind of
entertain you, hopefully.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm good looking, but we're intertwined with the community and the schools and this and that, and
Purple Crunch.
Oh my God, I love Purple Crunch.
Love the comment.
She always changes her hair color. I like that purple though.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Did you have anything else, Ron?
I don't.
All right. Well, I'm going to shake your hand from here. Boom.
I'm going to shake your hand from here.
All right. We'll catch you next time. So look for us on Thursday at some point, because we got that board meeting that we're going to go to. So it may be a little later. We'll try to work that out before Thursday.
Yeah, because this board meeting is not in our district. We're traveling.
Yeah, we're traveling. We're traveling loudmouths. We're going to be loudmouths all over the place.
So
all right, man.
Good stuff.
We'll see you later, and we'll catch you guys on Thursday. Peace out.